Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Mind your business. Only on Money FM 89.3.
All right, mind your business time with me, Imad Akhtar. Now, in today's digital economy, data isn't just an asset. It's the fuel powering AI, business decisions, and innovation. Over the past decade, we've seen an explosion of data driven by cloud computing, IoT, and the rise of AI. But with this surge in data comes a challenge. How do organizations manage, process, and extract real value from it at scale? Today, we're turning our attention to a company that's dedicated to leveraging their data for AI-driven insights as well as business growth. Considered to be one of the world's most valuable privately held tech companies, we're going to find out how the company was able to grow $1 million in annual recurring revenue to over $3 billion at the end of January this year. To help us with these and more, we're pleased to welcome on the show Ron Gabrisko, Chief Revenue Officer at Databricks. Ron, how are you?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you on. First things first, Ron, how has the landscape of data evolved over the years, and what trends are you seeing emerge in this space?
I mean, listen, data and AI, the market is absolutely exploding right now. Lots of, it will literally, it's a generational shift in technology. It's the internet, cell phones, the cloud, and every single company will have to transform using data and AI. But a lot of these companies are still struggling. It's complex, new technology, and Databricks is, here to help those companies. Locally, here in Singapore, we're actually working with a number of customers, Standard Chartered Bank, GovTech, and we also recently met with the government, too, to infuse investments and train over 10,000 people here locally on AI technology. So it's excited about the market momentum, and growing super, super fast. So,
yeah, let's talk a little bit about what Databricks actually does. If you were to explain in lay terms what you guys do, are you data intelligence? Are you an enterprise software maker?
Yeah, we call it a data intelligence platform. So we allow you to take massive amounts of data and start to gain insights off it, start to do AI, predictive intelligence. We have pharmaceutical companies that find liver cancer cures, and simplest way to explain it is like you go to Disney Plus or some of these shows and, your next recommended movie. So we're taking massive amounts of data from many sources and allowing you to do predictive insights and AI on it.
In an interview with Investor Business Daily, I believe you were quoted as saying, "We were doing AI before AI was cool." Can you explain that?
Yeah, exactly. So, the company was founded back in 2013, and we've always been the data and AI company. And our customers, even early days, were doing machine learning, data science, doing predictive analytics. And it's just recently with kind of the Chat GPT moment where everybody figured out this AI stuff's really, really interesting. And we had built a pretty fast growing business by then. So I always say we were doing AI before AI was cool.
So, Ron, under your leadership, Databricks has grown from $1 million to almost $3 billion in annual recurring revenue. This is US dollars, of course, while maintaining a staggering 60% plus growth rate at scale. The $1 million question is, the $1 billion question in this case, how did you do it, and what scalable strategies did you employ to enjoy this growth?
Yeah, I mean, Databricks, today I think is the fastest growing software company of all time. And a lot of things we did to innovate in the product, we continue to try to disrupt ourselves in terms of new innovations. But on the sales side as well, we innovate on how we go to market, right? We innovated with how we leveraged open source. We innovate in how we drive consumption with customers and how we get them started sooner. So we try to innovate even on the sales side. So it's been spectacular, and we're just getting started. I always say it's kind of top of the second inning, and massive market, and I think we're the innovation leaders there. So definitely a lot of innovation both on the product and the go-to-market side.
Yeah, let's talk about that massive market. I did believe, refer to biotech firm Regeneron as one of your customers in the AI space. You've discovered a new liver cancer cure using genome data. Other customers, I believe MasterCard, electric vehicle maker Rivian, and Shell. You talked about StanChart and GovTech here in Singapore. Could you tell us about maybe some of the AI use cases you've helped them out with?
Yeah, listen, if you think about some of the pharmaceutical companies like Regeneron or Amgen, they're taking massive amounts of genome data, against electronic medical records, and looking at different compounds to accelerate innovation and R&D for drug development. If you think about, these drugs are worth billions of dollars. If you can take a year or two out of the development cycle, it's massive growth for those companies, right? Shell does all their predictive maintenance on all their pipelines. Also does, all the oil and gas companies do all kinds of things around natural resources and where they find new oil or new resources, as well as how they protect the environment, right? We have hospitals that are doing, cancer research with massive amounts of data. So, like I said, I think, data this is absolutely a revolution. The more data you have and the more data we can share amongst companies, the faster we can go in terms of this innovation. So pretty cool. I mean, the Rivian truck, pretty much most, if not all, the autonomous vehicles use Databricks. We also have lots of cool other companies like Zipline actually delivers drugs to remote countries via drones using Databricks. All the diabetes medications, to allow people to just put an Omnipod on and be able to, monitor their medication. All that stuff is driven by Databricks. So pretty awesome stuff in healthcare, retail, high tech. I mean, it's every single industry. So. Yeah,
our listeners here in Singapore are probably wondering what you guys are up to with GovTech. Could you share a little bit more about what you're doing in that space?
I can't really share a bunch on the government projects,
sure.
But I mean, listen, we're trying to make pretty massive investments with the government to accelerate the growth here. The GovTech, I mean, we're their data backbone for all their data security, governance, collaboration for recruitment, finance planning, pretty much across the government. Again, I think pretty massive growth here in South Asia. Our APJ headquarters is Singapore here. And like I said, we'll train 10,000 new people in AI just here in Singapore. So we're working with the government, too, to accelerate innovation here locally.
All right, curious to know, Ron, about your pricing model and how you were able to create a long-term advantage for your company.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was pretty smart when we thought through kind of pricing early days here, because, if you can attach yourself, I mean, first of all, customers buy products because they see value. I always say if you get the price wrong, two things happen and they're both bad. Either A, you didn't capture the value, or B, you overpriced it and the customer didn't get value out of it. So we attached ourselves to usage. So a customer is only going to pay for Databricks if they use it and they're getting value out of it, right? And when you attach yourself to something that's growing, I mean, data is growing, there's massive amounts of data inputs and data sources. And again, thousands and millions of new queries on that data, new use cases. And so those things grow organically, almost exponentially under the hood, which is really smart about how you think through kind of pricing models. And, that's the advice I give to a lot of the earlier stage startups.
Yeah, when you think a publicly traded company that specializes in software platforms for big data analytics, the name that probably comes to mind is Palantir Technologies. It's been taking Wall Street by storm. Snowflake as well. Would you cast these two as potential, your biggest competition right now?
Listen, I think they're in the same space. I think Databricks is the clear leader. I mean, if you look at those two companies, Palantir and Snowflake are relatively the same size as Databricks, but we're growing 60% plus. Palantir is growing 30%, and Snowflake's growing 22%. So you kind of just see based on the growth where we're going. And, again, I think Databricks is the innovation leader. We developed the Lakehouse originally. Then we did the data intelligence. We bought Mosaic AI to infuse AI into the entire system. But I think Databricks is the leader in this market. We also recently launched a partnership with Palantir. So Palantir specializes in trying to customize a lot of these data and AI solutions. They're actually very inside of these customers, and so Databricks will be the underlying platform that they do that with. So, I think again, they're in the space, but I think Databricks is kind of the clear leader there.
Yeah, you have been described as one of the hottest private companies in tech right now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the numbers suggest that in December you raised $10 billion in a funding round that valued your company at $62 billion. You also recently added over $5 billion in debt financing. So on the surface, there's no pressing need for an IPO, but just want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Having raised more than $15 billion from companies, including Facebook parent Meta Platforms, why are you putting an IPO on hold?
Yeah, I'll just echo our CEO, Ali. We will be a public company. Right now, I think we can grow even faster as a private company, right? So, we're making massive investments in R&D, massive investments in sales. And again, I think it's early in the market. I would say it's top of the second inning. And so, right now we want to make sure we capture market share as much as possible. And again, we're not trying to time the market. We're trying to win the market. I think Databricks can be $1 trillion company and change the world. And so that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, moving on to some of the lessons you've learned as a sales leader scaling a company from hypergrowth to IPO readiness. What are some of those lessons you would share?
Some of these are pretty simple. First off is hire the best of the best people on the planet, inspire them, mentor them, coach them. In addition, we took a very different approach to the types of sellers that we hired. Our sellers tend to be very technical. We're in a very technical market today, and so a lot of customers, they want to make sure they get value. So a lot of our, especially our field engineering, is just absolutely amazing. They can code. We can help build pilots and POCs. And again, we're just trying to make it easy for customers to be able to use the technology and get value out of the technology. And so our sales team is here. I would say great salespeople teach, they don't sell, and great sales leaders coach. So, we've kind of developed that culture here, and, obviously we're doing a lot of innovation on how we do comp plans and consumption and, the product and how we do training and industry certifications and things of that nature. But again, the pretty simple formula is hire the best of the best and inspire them to do amazing things.
Yeah, and finally, what piece of advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to build a $1 billion plus business?
First off, there's a couple things that we did right early days and the founders did right early days. They bet on the cloud, they bet on open source, they bet on data and AI. First off, go where the puck's going, not where it is currently. And I think we did that well. I think, again, go back to people, especially early on, hire the best of the best. Culture is so important, especially as you scale. I think, Databricks is one of those once-in-a-lifetime companies, and the people and the culture are part of that. Use your investor network strategically. So, we have an amazing partnership with Microsoft. We also have great partnership with AWS, but our Microsoft partnership, Microsoft is a massive number one partner, and we actually leveraged Ken Horowitz, one of our investors, for intros there, and that's blossomed. Think through pricing, think through how do you develop customer advocates. There's a lot of pieces, but yeah, I think I'm excited for all the entrepreneurs out there investing and innovating in AI. I think it's an absolutely generational shift, once in a lifetime market changing, technology and space. And I think there'll be lots of, $1 billion companies and hopefully a few $1 trillion companies that come out of that space. So.
All right. Go where the puck is going, not where it is. The parting words from Ron Gabrisko, Chief Revenue Officer at Databricks. Ron, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good weekend. That was Ron Gabrisko, Chief Revenue Officer at Databricks. Stay with Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.